Hello, dynamic stars. It's Azurite 22 welcoming you to the channel that brings your intuition to the fore to bring you more. And we are here today with another Ancestor Money Joss Paper video. And I'm just going to start by using my abundance oil to bring in the abundance of the ancestors into this video, into this conversation. Ooh, I got a whole lot of oil today. Run through my hair. You can also put it on your feet and on your legs to douse yourself and call the ancestors to you so that you can hear their messages clearly. Now today, yes, we're going to talk about the ancestor money. You remember the big, huge bills. Yeah, I know that one got split in while I was holding it. Here's another. We have so many different kinds, you know? And if you're interested, you can get some at my website. Oh, and I guess there are some that I haven't talked about. But in addition to burning ancestor money, you can get things like a little wallet, a cell phone, matches. All of this is paper that can burn, cardboard, and a pack of cigarettes. Filtered cigarettes. Haven't seen those, right? And also, this is for ancestors of yours that enjoyed smoking. And here is the disposable mouthpiece going back in the day for those who rolled their own. So there are these things. What is the purpose of this? The bottom line with ancestor money, ancestor burning, is you are connecting with your personal, your family line members. So if you knew that one of your family members, like my uncle, loved to smoke, I mean, had the smoker's teeth, the whole bit, smoking. So I would send him some cigarettes because that's something that he enjoyed in this lifetime. If you have a family member who liked to dress, who liked to look good, you would give them something like this. Yes, it is paper. Can you see that? It's a whole suit and tie. All right, and then there's a watch in there. Can you see it? So the Chinese have gone all out because this tradition was carried on by, I won't even say the Chinese, the people from Asia, period. Yes, in China they have many of these things and many of these particular items come from China, but it's all over Asiatic lands. In Malaysia, in Thailand, in Bangkok. I mean, it's all over. It's all over. And how I know this is I came to know about ancestor money through a book. And I'm hoping this shows up on screen because, you know, I like saving paper. Haha, burning ancestor money, funny. But this book, The Ghost Bride by Yangshi Chu, amazing book. She is born in Malaysia, but of Chinese descent. And she actually wrote this story that spoke of a young lady in modern times whose long ago ancestor was what they called a ghost bride. And that is a woman in flesh, a living person that is married off to a ghost, somebody who passed on. So that for her whole life, as long as she's alive physically, she will not technically have a real life husband because her husband is already in the afterlife. And that was actually a thing in traditional China many, many, many hundreds of years ago. And in this particular story, which she says is fictional, this young woman, current day, basically went into various meditations and in her dreams went to the afterlife and had family members currently living, you know, a guy who's interested in her, it's another storyline happening at the same time, burn things like the ancestor money for her and burn various things like a carriage, you know, actual clothing, so that in that land she can function, she can do what she needed to do to save herself in current times and break the tie from that ancient time. So in this book, the current was meshed with the past, and that karmic bond stayed. So very intricate, beautiful story. I'll link it below if you wanted to read it, but it gives you a very clear picture of how deeply embedded into the Chinese culture, Malaysian culture, the idea of ancestor burning and actual life, karmic paths are interconnected. And I guess that's what I wanted to bring also, so that there's more understanding in what you're doing. Because yes, we are burning our ancestor money for our personal ancestors, whoever you are, whatever culture you're from. Because if you feel that pull, that nudge to offer something, that means your ancestors are looking for something. And they recognize this. Yes, it's not their culture, but they recognize money coming through. These are just more examples of the various types of ancestor money and the denominations they come in, varied. These are also the traditional way of offering ancestor money in the Chinese tradition. These are ingots, and they come flat like this, and then you actually make them like this, and then you burn them on special holidays, like the Hungry Ghost Festival, which comes towards the end of July and goes into August, is a prime time. And we're coming up to the Hungry Ghost Festival this year. It's literally every summer, and there's a whole month of ancestor burning that happens all across lands in Asia. And this is what they do. You can burn it flat, but this is the traditional way. Hundreds upon hundreds of these burned at that time in temples. Now, I'm going to do my best to show you how to do this, and then we're going to burn some so that this way you can call out your ancestors' names, so that if you, for whatever reason, are not able to burn in your home, you can take part in this whenever you watch this. Now, again, I am not the consummate professional, but it is very much like this to get your front appropriate. So you make it so that there's like a square, so that the money symbol, the good fortune symbol, is kind of squared off. And then you take this and make sure that it is, you know, even. And then you turn it. And then you turn it one more time to kind of make sure it stays. A nice seam there. So you see, little seam. And now you fluff it up a little bit and then poke it in. Okay. Again, totally not traditional, but it gets the job done. All right. Oh, there, finger got stuck. And there you have your ingot. All right. So to show you how the traditionals are, this was done for me. You see the shape completely different. You see how the inside is. And I've kept this because I cannot remember how they did it exactly. But the point is putting your time, your love, and energy into it, because actually doing this, even if it's not perfect, you are giving time, you are giving your energy, you are giving your ashe to your ancestors to allow them to have what they need. All right, so that is part one, folding it, giving you a little bit of history. And one other thing that you can do, this is a picture of the Elmina castles in Ghana. And the Elmina Castle is where African slaves were held before they were put on the ships and to cross the Atlantic. I actually visited Ghana back in the late 90s, and I was there, and the ancestors at that time were still there. I completely felt their presence, and it was as if they were calling out for help, asking for people to liberate them. So for me, I also burn ancestor money for the ancestors of the Atlantic crossing. They are not my direct ancestors. I do not know all of them, but this is something that I do to uplift those who are still stuck. And that's something, if you choose to do that, you can do that as well. You can actually burn ancestor money or any of the items that we mentioned for people that you don't know, because it may help them, it may uplift them. There's even homes, actual big, huge homes about this big. You know, you can't see how big, but they're large. They are like a dollhouse size, and they are meant to be burned with pools, with a 2-car garage, with land around it, because we don't know what some of our collective ancestors need, what their hopes and dreams and aspirations were. As you develop communication with your ancestors while you sit at your altar, at your table, at your bobada, at whatever you call it, your table, you will begin understanding some of the things that they wanted and some of the things that they needed. Because sometimes to give them closure, you can send them things that they were striving for in this life and they never quite got there. And you can close that door and give it to them, send it to them. That is what the Joss paper is for, to close doors that they weren't able to do in the 3D life. So it gives them ashe, and it helps us because we are now giving equally, because once they have what they need, once they're freed up of that stuff, they can now help us from their vantage point, which is a much greater vantage point than we have at this moment in time. And that's where you hear that tradition where the Day of the Dead, in the Mexican tradition, where they go to the cemetery and you hear all about these numbers and so on and so forth, and stories of paternity and various things in the family line that were hidden, that are revealed by the ancestors, because the veil between worlds is so thin at that time. So this, what we're doing here, is just a way to communicate, to open the lines of communication so that you can hear more clearly and you can do the things that are needed and necessary. Okay. So now we are going to go ahead with the burning. So you can see that, yeah, we have our bowl here, and I have my handy dandy tongs. I'm gonna move these items out of the way. I always like to move these things. All right. So today, in addition, we're going to add a little asafoetida. I don't think the title is on there. It says yellow powder, but it's asafoetida. asafoetida, however you want to pronounce it. It is a spice that many in East India use in food. It's excellent for the digestion. It smells horrible. It smells like sulfur or worse than sulfur. However, spiritually, when you add it to anything that you're burning, it actually destroys spells. It destroys negativity. It is a spell breaker. Now, my ancestors wanted me to add asafoetida today, and the only thing that I can think of is, or what I'm surmising, many of us maybe watching this video have had certain things thrown at us that we don't know. And it's not like it's stopping us from doing stuff. I mean, if you're stuck in mud, you're just moving slower, right? You're not stopped. So by using something like this asafoetida while you're burning, while you're asking for blessings for yourself and for your ancestors, you're also not releasing anything that may have been put there to slow your pace. Because everything that we do is a spiritual process, because we are spiritual people. At least that is my belief. So, calmly and gently, we're going to put all of them in there, okay? And, yeah, I guess we could do it that way. I usually have my lighter, but we could do it like this too. Just put it right here. And there it goes, smoking. We are asking for our ancestors, our highest ancestors, to receive this ancestor money with blessings on the other side. We are putting asafoetida to remove any of our negativities. Say the names of your ancestors now. Say the names of your ancestors. May they receive this money in peace, in love, in health, in happiness, in goodwill, to move forward with their spiritual evolution, with their spiritual journey, and bring light and energy to all here on earth who have burned for them. Abu yu, abu ye, abu shisha, ache, ache, ache. We make sure that we get the embers. Ouch. Yes, it's hot. And you see how quickly that burned, yes? And I have my pot holder here. So you see? Anything that looks too big, you can burn it, but it's still going. See that? And you do that so you make sure it is out. And that's the beauty of this particular joss paper, the Chinese ingot. It burns so quickly, so rapidly, so cleanly. I actually love using that paper. So thank you for stopping by my channel once again. I send you peace, I send you love, I send you blessings. May you come back, join me for more of my videos. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.